It's your casual cinema, bro, and it's time to talk Supergirl. That's right, there's more drama. Not only was this movie struggling in the box office, there were struggles behind the scenes. On Friday, The Hollywood Reporter reports there was creative differences between the director of Supergirl, Craig Gillespie, and the CEOs, James Gunn and Peter Safran. That's right, Supergirl never found its footing during the filming. After several test scores that only scored between 60 to 70 points, the studio decided to step in. James Gunn called upon some Guardians of the Galaxy writers to help with the writing and post production. Apparently, the article details that the film was seeing some improvements, but then the studio does something strange. They decide to have a bake off. So Gillespie grabs his editor, James Gunn grabs one of his longtime and friend and editor, and they go mano a mano. Winner takes all. Whoever wins this, their cut is being shown to us, the audience. Now, I thought this was strange because why would they do this? I feel like James Gunn only did this so they can say, hey, we didn't totally jack your film. This is, hey, look, we have people that said our movie was better, so we went with our movie, which is kind of lame in my opinion once you hear the results. Now, the studio's cut ends up beating Craig's cut of the film, but here's the interesting part about it. It only won by 2 points. 2 points. You're telling me you guys stepped in, thought my movie wasn't what you guys wanted it to be, only to beat my cut by 2 points? I would have an issue with that. Now, what I also thought was interesting about this article were the notes that some of the testers left for Craig Gillespie. But you know what I didn't find in this article? Notes for why the DC Studios version won by 2 points. Now, what did the testers think about Craig's movie? They thought his pacing was better. There was 11 more minutes of film with his cut. There was more creme, and they also felt like his music was better. Now, here's what kind of bothers me about this. My issues with Supergirl was pacing, creme, the music I don't care too much about, but you're telling me Craig Gillespie's version had better pacing and more creme? That's what this movie kind of needed, in my opinion. So why did his movie lose? I think Craig was in a lose-lose situation for the jump, and is really James Gunn dropping the ball. And what do I mean by that? In 2022, when James Gunn and Peter Safran took over as the CEOs of DC, they stated that they want their directors and talented screenwriters to have their own vision of the film. Now, what changed, James? I would love to know what changed. What made you step in and not want to see this director fulfill his vision? Was it the success of Superman? Did he just have regrets of hiring Craig Gillespie overall? Was it the purchasing of Warner Brothers going to Paramount? Or was it because rumor has it your deal, your contract is coming up to a close with DC? I don't know what the truth is, but one thing I can tell you is, James Gunn, your gun jammed. You failed Supergirl. You failed this cast. You failed this crew with this decision. Now, I will say, this is growing pains for this young studio. This is only the second movie to come out in this universe. DC, I think, will be fine. Clayface comes out in October. Then we have Superman, which is supposedly a banger from what I'm hearing or seeing online. I think DC is going to be fine. But James Gunn, you do have to decide on whether you want your creators to have their own vision, or do you want them to have the vision that you see for your universe? Listen, it's your casual cinema, bro, and I'm out.